Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Now this clip features another section from Tony Shuffleberger Sensei's session at our recent winter camp. And in this clip, he shows us a very unusual Shihonage. Now by Tony's own admission, this isn't really a martial application of Shihonage, but it provides a great insight into how you can connect with your partner and how you can adjust their structure to allow them to come around you. As always, this is very subtle. You might have to play around with this a bit. Of course, if you found this interesting, smash the stuff below, consider subscribing, and as always, thank you for watching.
Who else have we got to play with? Clyde, do you mind coming up? So, my main instructor, Ron Russell Sensei, often talked about being soft but alive. Made no sense to me at all. But what he did talk about is making, if we do cross hand for now, taking it back to the first form basic, yeah? And most Shihonagis will play with that one because everyone loves it. I used to hate Shihonage, I did it so much and then realised it's actually one of the most important to play with. Okay? We're actually moving around the other person. We're redirecting normally around the other person. This is the normal Shihonage you see. What I'm going to ask you to do, because we're playing with our own structure, is to invite this person to come around you. Okay? So if I try and do it from my hands, never going to work. So again, I drop down into my feet. You can feel me go down through to my feet. I extend forward into his wrist. I want this grip to, they used to say you're taking up the slack, but in the skin, you can feel the skin go, takes up the slack, yeah? The other hand comes in just below his elbow because you don't want the elbow to bend. So you keep that forward, which then invites the shoulder to go up. Now what I do is I'm going to drop into my own center and cause a curvature around me. So by doing that, I bring the person around me rather than run around them. All right? But I can only do that by stealing his skeletal structure. Okay? You know, if I'm just playing with space, this doesn't work. Because I know my skeletal structure, I can now make a connection to his skeletal structure. And it's about joining this person, not fighting with him, but joining him. So I've glued into him. The next thing from here is this extension, this thing with the sword and everything else, this being in the forward extension. I wish to steal his shoulder, bang. So on my feet, I've come forward, I've filled volume, and I've popped up his shoulder. But again, if I just try to pull from here, that's not going to work either. So I've got to cause that upward curve. On the point of the upward curve, I can then invite them to move around me. All right? And that time I had to explore a couple of times to pick you up. I lost you twice on the way around. Yeah? But I'm fixing me, not fighting him. I don't know how to explain it. I'm adjusting me instead of fighting with this person. And my grounded space is what's causing the uprooting or the lifting of the other person. Okay, so if we change side for a second, when I first started to explore this, I used to put myself into his third point, that triangle point in front of his feet. Okay, that allowed me now to pick up his center and then invite that center around me. So that's how I first started to explore it, by physically putting myself in his stance. When he's in a stance, you've got a triangular shape, and at that point there, you can make a connection back to the other person to steal their center. Okay? Later on, I didn't need to physically put myself there. I can just reset myself and put myself into that spot. So I'm actually already at this spot affecting Clyde. But I can't pull him from the top, so in my feet, I push into the ground and I cause the lift from that spot up. And if I was using a sword, I'd be lifting the sword up here and bringing him around. Because I lift the sword from the ground, from my feet, not from my arms. Anyone who's done sword work should know that it's coming from the ground, yeah? So there's your forward curve, glue, boom, 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 up into the shoulder. Now if you like, for beginners, someone who's starting, physically stand into that spot, that triangle, the front part of the triangle off Clyde's foot, here. Drop my knees, and when I stand up, I lift his shoulder. When he's up in his shoulder, I use my hip to invite him round. And that's just total structure exploration. Later on we can connect all the rest of it. We have a try, see how you go. Try Shihonage from a different point of view.